No, it has to go for 24 hours.
Oh, okay.
Admiral, radar shows that we have liberals approaching at 3 o'clock, and libertarians at 9 o'clock, and conservatives at 6 o'clock. They're coming from every angle, every viewpoint. Oh, it's Political Radar with your hosts, Rhonda and Elliot.
Hey, all you political junkies. Welcome to Political Radar, the best 30 minutes of unscripted, uncensored political talk you will hear all day. And that was, what was that? That was
from the show 24 with Kiefer Sutherland.
Okay. No idea.
Who are you?
I'm not a television watcher. Anyway, that was supposed to basically indicate that we are on episode 24.
It's a cultural touchstone.
Okay, so...
Cornerstone.
Okay, so that was 24. We're on 24.
Who are you people?
I'm not a television watcher. I'm a podcast listener, newspaper person. Remember? You hate that.
You still know what these things are.
Yeah, not enough to care. So we have a guest today. Her name is Terri. She's a Green Bay citizen, and we're really happy that you've joined us in the studio. Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Everybody knows your real name is Cocoa and Cream.
Yeah.
Cocoa and Cream. So how did you get that nickname, and tell us about that?
Well, when I started on social media, of course, I needed to come up with a handle that signified who I was. And since I was of mixed ethnicity, I thought...
Oh, can I read your bio? I'm going to read your bio because you don't remember it.
No, I just looked it up. Go ahead.
It says Cocoa and Cream, and it has a very sassy picture.
It is not sassy. I am actually fully clothed in that picture.
Bisexual, biracial, Zaftig. I don't even know what that is.
Chubby.
She out-nerded me. Sci-fi, anime, dreads, ink, metal, subwa, awada, sir, size queen, get girl, fallen techie, runner, fellas, conqueror, I just Michio Kaku and Neil Tyson DeGrasse.
That would be lust.
I don't even know what the heck.
Lust.
So
basically, I'm a chubby geek.
You're not that
who
chubby.
likes science. When I made that, I was probably about 30 pounds heavier. So
you had it to put on.
Yeah,
Fine.
no. Thank you.
You got to have something to. I can't say that.
And by the way, I lust Michio Kaku and Neil Tyson DeGrasse.
I lust. What did I say?
You said I just.
Oh yeah.
You
know why? Because I'm old and I need some glasses like you have.
I'm not wearing glasses.
No, but you had them. I saw them. Yeah. You're getting old.
So what are we going to talk about today, people?
Oh, we can't just hang out and have fun?
No, I'm really curious.
So I wanted to, change the quotient a little bit. We want more females and we want more people of color.
I'm both of those.
Yeah. So I would like your perspective on some of the stuff that's been going on lately.
Okay. I'd be more than happy to give my perspective.
Good.
For instance, give me a starting point.
Well, so there was the guy that got shot in Minneapolis, right down the street from us. There's the incident in Baton Rouge. There's the whole Black Matters hashtag. There's the whole Police Matter or Blue Matters. I don't even know. So,
well, I'm going to start with the Black Lives Matter because that one really sticks in my craw to try to be polite. When that is ever answered with all life matters, it's so ridiculously offensive. I can't even begin to explain it. If someone hashtags Black Lives Matter, there is an unspoken also at the end of that. There is not an unspoken only. It's not only Black Lives Matter. It's Black Lives Matter too. Because if anyone's being honest with themselves, they have to admit that they absolutely have mattered less than almost any other life in our country. You don't hear us jumping up at a breast cancer rally saying, colon cancer matters. Well, of course it does. But right now, this is the subject we're talking about. So that is just almost a slap in the face for African Americans that hear that. It's just a reinforcement of, no, you don't really quite matter. Now hush up and let us tell you who does.
Do you think it's just because they can't literally say the word black? I think what's more offensive is blue because they're actually going to the color. It's just when I see that one makes me just
me too.
full body cringe.
That one makes me angry because blue lives have always mattered more than any other life, regardless, even white lives, if you want to get technical, because there is everyone's heard of the blue line. You don't cross the blue line, the blue code. They always stick up for one another. And you would expect that in pretty much any job or club or grouping. You really do. You want to look out for your own, but not at the expense of others, especially when they're supposed to be protecting us.
I think blonde lives matter.
No, we can all agree that.
Well, I might have to disagree with that one.
I'm going to start that one. Blonde lives matter.
So, being police is a choice.
Exactly.
It's a job, like you said, and you can switch jobs. You can't switch the color of your skin. You can sort of switch the color of your hair, but you can't switch the color of your skin very easily. So it's not even the same discussion.
Exactly.
So it's even worse than the colon cancer, breast cancer comparison because they're not even the same things.
Exactly. But it's easy to when a subject becomes uncomfortable, you start getting the deflection. That's when you need to be discussing that. If you feel yourself deflecting things, you need to look a little bit inside yourself, perhaps, to see why you're going to try to flip that subject. And if you really feel strongly that what you're hearing from someone is unfair or not right, research it. Don't name call. Don't leave it to that person to research your side either. Come back with some facts. Come back with some real facts from multiple reputable sources, not far left, not far right. Find something in the middle.
But they're
and
really
come
just
back.
people are looking for power, and I think our world is basically trying to dictate or create this situation where we all feel so powerless, and we're all supposed to look at ourselves, and we're all supposed to take control, and it feeds into that. I mean, I love social media for various reasons, but I also think it makes you more isolated. It makes you more selfish. It makes you more, you're just really they're creating a situation where we're supposed to be powerful, and it's all about power. And so how do we get power? We put other people down. We are always right. I don't agree with that. I think sometimes I'm guilty of that, but I feel like that, the consensus is it's a power struggle. We're all supposed to be feeding into it. We're all supposed to be part of it.
But in my experience, where I completely see where you're coming from, and I found most of my friends are white people. I grew up very typically, quote unquote, white. My mother is white. My father is black. So I think I have interesting perspectives on all this because I didn't grow up inner city. I didn't grow up around a lot of other African Americans. So what you're saying is this is a power struggle. Social media is kind of making it worse. No, this has always been like this for us. You guys are just now getting to see it.
Do you think we're hearing about it more often?
Exactly.
And we're seeing it? It's just out there.
Exactly. Whereas all these situations that were spoken about before had to be verified by a white person. And I know that sounds strange, but if 50 black people tell someone something in power, it tends not to be believed until a white person says, yeah, that really happens. Then it'll be looked into. This has always been, we've been shouting this, but not enough people have been listening to it. And now with social media, we can say, look, here it is, there it is, there it is. And unfortunately, people who don't live this reality are now going, oh, it's getting worse because of this. No, it's not.
So really,
it's just being put in your face.
The hashtag should say, white people think that Black Lives Matter.
They need well, they think that everything's equal.
That's the unwritten on everything. I think.
Right.
Yeah, they really they don't
let's
know.
go further. It's okay because white people think that Black Lives Matter. That's actually what it should be.
I don't think that, and it's not. Black people are only 13% of the population in this country. I get it. Not everybody has a black friend. So go out and read something. Read. The internet is here for everyone. You can read. Everyone can figure these things out for themselves. Don't take basic statistics as, oh my gosh, and please stop deflecting with the black on black crime. just stop. Just stop. That is the quickest way to just get that conversation to something that will never solve anything. Because one, black on black crime is being looked at. There's several community groups everywhere, especially in inner city areas, that are fighting this, that bring the gangs together to stop black on black crime. And when that gets thrown in our face, it's just, you're not trying to help. You're trying to prove that you're right. You're trying to prove that it is all a black problem instead of looking at the disenfranchised people that live in these communities, why they're stuck in these communities. And if you don't know what's going on in the communities, stop commenting on it. We're telling you, we are working on this. This is a different, separate issue.
But do you believe that so many of those people that actually throw that argument out there, they're not actually looking for a resolution? They're looking to justify
Exactly.
police officers killing black people.
Exactly.
That's what they're looking to do.
And the media does play into it a lot because we don't see a lot of, it's more so now, but we don't see a lot of just regular old black people doing their daily lives on TV and in movies. It's always a caricature of a black guy, or the bad guy is the black guy, or there's always something to that. It's just, most of us aren't like that. That's not really what black people are. It's just not. And I think that's what most white people really think, because at being 13% of the population, not everybody really knows a black person. They don't.
So you need better PR and marketing.
Kind of, almost, yeah.
So we've been friends for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Am I a bad friend for not discussing this before?
No, because it's a touchy subject. And I think that you can tell the level of your friendship with a black person if they have discussed this with you, or if they're willing. If they're not even willing to discuss it with you, you might want to check yourself a little bit. Or now, in all fairness, you might have a very militant black friend who doesn't believe in discussing that stuff with white people. I know a few of those too. But if you really feel like you have an actual friendship, that would be something they would be more than willing to discuss with you, because they want you to see so that you can educate outside of that circle that they already know is educated.
So you talk about this stuff with your kids.
Absolutely. I have 6 children. I was married twice, once to a black man, once to a white man. So I have a unique perspective, as I have black kids that present white, blonde hair, blue eyes. They look like white children. And I have black kids that are obviously black people. So I had to raise my black sons that look black differently than I've raised my black sons that look white. They have been stopped by police. They have been literally for walking down the street with an instrument, a violin, in his hand. Stopped. Where did you get that violin? Come on now.
Was that in Green Bay?
Actually, it was in Stevens Point. My son is a musician and went to college there, and was walking to and from a particular practice or something, and was stopped. And of course he calls me, "Mom, you're not going to believe what just happened." Well, of course I believe it. I just would have expected it a little less on a college campus.
So was it like, where are you going with that violin?
Pretty much. Questioning where he was. Well, he's on a music school's campus. Where do you think he's going with the damn violin? Oh, sorry. Darn violin.
Oh, you can swear on here. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one swears all the time.
Sorry.
Yeah, and it also leads to my white presenting children having very interesting views of their fellow classmates, because they don't realize these children are black. And some very interesting things slip out of mouths when they don't realize they're talking to a black person. So this feeling that racism is so much less than it used to be is a mistake. It's just kept under wraps a little better, because now it's not socially acceptable to be racist.
So can we I think we didn't address this. We did this after we were taping, but we talked with our last guest, Cordero Barkley, about what do you classify yourself as? And so many people still say African American. Does that make you crazy when someone says that?
No, because I kind of get.
Because that was the George Bush is the one that actually came up with that term.
I get the African American nomenclature. I call myself Black. I'm Black. I don't know where the heck my people came from. Otherwise, I would specify, but due to slave trade and however my people got here originally, my ancestors, I don't know exactly where I'm from.
And
Otherwise,
I do, but I would never call myself Swedish American. I'm just American.
But you also have the ability to trace that back. You don't have to claim that because you know that. Whereas I'm Black, but Black could be anything. My mother's side of the family is Portuguese. They come very white to very Black, but that is not the same Black that an African American would be. I mean,
it is ridiculous, isn't it? That people do that.
So I get it. I call myself Black just because I don't know more. Otherwise, I think I might signify it a little.
I call myself a podcaster and an American. The whole thing drives me crazy because I don't even know. Like, my dad has this whole chart of like what our ancestry is. These are tiny little European countries. Like, Germany is this size of Texas, maybe. I don't even know. And like, it's small, and I don't speak German. I'm not a German American. I'm not a Scandinavian American. I don't know any words in Scandinavian. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't even like most German food. Like, none of it makes any sense. Like, I'm not my heritage. My parents were born here. My grandparents were born here. My great grandparents, most of them were born here. So we're Americans, and you're an American.
Oh, I absolutely get that. But you have the ability to search that. I don't.
I know. And
it is some sort of grasp at who we are at that point, I think. But like I said, I identify as Black. And even though I am technically biracial, I identify as Black because that's what everybody sees me at. It would be ridiculous for me to go, oh no, I'm Portuguese. Well, I could probably work because Portuguese does come in a wide range, but it would be ridiculous for me because that's not what the world sees me as either. And it does make a difference. Just me claiming being Portuguese, I could scream I'm Portuguese from the top of the highest building. Everyone who looks at me is going to see me as a Black woman. That's what I am. And that's how I identify. I don't necessarily, I mean, if somebody says, oh, are you African American? Yes, because that's what they've used, but I use Black. So.
Yeah, see, I would just call you a dreadlock nerd.
Well, that works too. Usually it's either Black or Calypso. So, yeah.
Well, I definitely I'm going to pay more attention to when I hear people say African American after thinking about that. I think it's just people are lazy. They don't really care where you came from. They're just repeating what they've heard because it's easy. We're lazy. We don't think about it anymore. I'm going to address you the way I want to because it's more about me, not you.
Yeah. See, and for me, either of those don't matter. I find them both acceptable and non-offensive. I think most people use African American because they're trying not to be offensive, because some people really will take offense to being just called Black. I personally don't, and they would have whatever reason they would have for it. But I do know that some people will be offended by calling being called Black.
I get the 13% minority status thing. So I mean, I kind of understand that. But if someone described me as a white dude and they didn't describe my abilities, my character, my personality, I mean, and usually that's in derogatory terms when they do. But at least they do. They don't label me as a confrontational white guy. They label me as a confrontational guy. So it's very hard for me to even understand that, and it's even harder for me to try to explain to other people why they should even try.
I would like to think that people are doing this with their children. I have always made a point. My daughter's in school in Green Bay. There are Black children in her class as well as at school. And she has had conversations and talked about, and they're friends of hers. And then she, for whatever reason, and I don't know why, because I don't do this, she has to note that they're Black when she tells me the story. And I've always asked her, why are you saying that? Because when you talk about, this friend, you don't say that she's white.
Right.
So I have tried to actually start that conversation, and I hope that that's what other parents are doing, because it doesn't matter. My blonde friend Rhonda, I mean, maybe people do that. I don't know. I highly doubt it.
I don't think so.
But I think
I totally do, and I mean it in the
you
worst possible
probably
sense.
do. You don't count. But I think that's something that we have to think about. It's like, it starts with your children. It starts with they're in the world. They are seeing differences, obviously, between people, but why do they note it? It's the noting of it that I've never understood.
Because in America, white is the norm. You, when I say you, I mean white people, are the base. Everything like you is normal and not different and not extraordinary, good or bad.
I hate that word normal, by the way. I hate the word normal.
You are the norm.
I hate it.
So it's almost like if you said that.
Hear that, listeners? I'm normal.
Well.
Whatever that means.
Yeah. So it's almost like if you were describing anything extraordinary, unlike you, unlike the commonality, you're going to describe it with the quickest ways to...
Like a chocolate-covered apple pie.
Yeah, you wouldn't say the apple pie that maybe you would say chocolate covered. So you're going to say the black person. Although I do kind of find that offensive too, because especially me in particular, you can find a whole bunch of things to describe me before black. Yeah. You can definitely find a whole bunch to say about me, good and bad, before you would have to
Because
use
I think
black.
it's interesting because depending on who you're talking to, it actually takes the conversation into a whole nother area had you not said and noted that.
Exactly.
And that is usually the reason you're doing it, which, again, I don't understand. And I'm trying very, very hard to get my daughter to understand that if you're telling a story, which I hope you do, because I want you to talk to kids rather than stick your face in a phone, I want you to understand that you're telling a story about people. And noting their color, it's going to take the story into another area right off the bat for some people.
Absolutely.
And that is a huge problem.
Absolutely. Oh, no, I agree. But I have to say, because I know so few black people in the groups that I hang out with some pretty nerdy people, and there are plenty of nerdy.
Most of them look like Jacob.
pretty much. In this area, in the Green Bay area, there are less black nerds, black geeks than in, major cities. So most of my friends tend to be white. So when another one of us pops up, I will describe them. I will throw in the race just because it's nice to find another me. It's nice to find another me. So what's
with the geek nerd? Tell us why you label yourself like that.
Well, it's more mainstream now, so I guess I'm more mainstream than I used to be. So, but gosh, when I met Elliot 10, a lot of years ago.
Like 12 days ago?
Yeah, something like that. It was kind of, when I was on social media in the beginning, I wanted it to be more for meeting people with my interests. So I labeled myself as a geek or a nerd because those are the things I was doing. Those are the things I wanted to meet people to hang out and do with versus, hey, look, it's kind of a hot girl. Show me your boobs. So I wanted to, specify nerd, geek, techie, science, these things. Sure, there was still this show me your boobs part. But
so you want to be heard, not seen.
Oh, no, I want to be seen. I'm going to be honest here. I want to be seen.
Okay.
I'm cute. I need to be seen. I've only got a few more years of being seen cute. Age catches up with all of us. So I wanted to be seen.
Oh,
I wanted
God.
to be seen.
Correction. You're not blonde. You're gray.
I had to say it. I'm totally kidding.
So I labeled myself as that so that I would kind of get that group too. So I had some people to hang out with and do stuff with, and it served me well. I met Elliot and Gina, and I met a couple of my best friends, and we do cons together and watch anime together a couple times a week.
And by cons, you don't mean you play dice in the backyard?
No. Conventions, geek fests, Convergence in Minnesota. Going to do Kitsune Con here in Green Bay on Saturday. So
I have absolutely no idea what that is. You should tell me what that is.
It is a anime convention here in Green Bay. It's a smaller one for about 500, 600
They
people.
dress up like cartoon characters.
I mean, I know what anime is.
That is anime,
I
not
know what that- I
cartoon.
know
There
what
is a
that is.
difference. Please do not insult us like that. So yeah, I will be dressing up for this and going there and seeing the other geeks and squeeing all together.
And what? And
Squee. It's
I'm so lost on this.
squee. A happy sound. Of
You have to
geekness.
understand, Rhonda brings a newspaper in
They still make those?
to talk about the news.
They make those?
She's not one of us.
Oh.
I don't squee. So can you squee?
Oh, you squee. I can't squee if there's nothing squee worthy.
Is it like a squeal?
Kinda.
But it's different.
It gets very high pitched.
Oh my God, I need to hear this.
It can get very high pitched for me. Actually,
and only black people do this.
oh, of course. No, it's a geek thing. I think I'm pretty sure I've heard you squee over some pretty nerdy stuff.
Oh yeah.
See, yeah, yeah.
You have to do it.
I don't know. I don't know how I would squee. I got really happy when I finished my Kagune, which is a piece of cosplay gear. I got really happy when I finished that, and my friends nicknamed the noise that came out of me the Triple S, the supersonic squee, because it went into only the dog can hear it. So, yeah.
So one thing that struck me is we talk about all this racial stuff, and this is a politics podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know we didn't mean to do it, but I was watching the live stream of the city council meeting, and
Because they're live streamed now.
Yeah,
Let's make sure
yeah.
we let people know that.
well, yeah, if you can handle 4 hours of that, oh my god. But the mayor said, "Gentlemen," in reference to something, and then I had to think. I'm like,
Are there no ladies there?
There is.
but
There's
there-
one.
but there's only
no,
one.
I don't
And I had to
care.
even think myself to even know that, and that's not good.
No.
And I
Was this 3 hours into it?
it was
Yeah, so-
everybody was kind of exhausted.
Exactly.
I know it was unintentional.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen again. But it's just the fact that it's so close to that it was very glaring.
Was it a kind of a settling thing? Gentlemen, come on now.
Might have been
That
and-
one I would see forgivable because even me kind of, it's like, guys, come on. In the group
Guys
of
is a
men.
little bit, but guys
know,
probably doesn't
but-
sound as professional.
Yeah,
and it was in a professional
and I-
environment. So
and I know that the mayor is not sexist, racist, anything. I hate to even say that, but that was the example. We don't have anybody of color really on. I don't think even really. I think they're
Oh, it's white. It's white bread.
yeah.
It's Wonder white bread in that room.
Yeah, and I was on a board at one point, and I made a reference to old white guys, which I thought was an acceptable politically correct term, and I almost got thrown off the board for being so insensitive to somebody who was older than me.
oh, come on.
But that's
no,
fair.
I get it.
But that's
I
fair.
really do
So
get it.
just like baked into us, there's I think ageism is a thing.
Oh, yeah.
And as I get older, I'm afraid of that. And sexism is a thing, and racism is a thing, and
Now imagine being an old black woman.
yeah,
I'm low man on the totem pole here, guys. I'm low man on the totem pole. I mean, socio-economically, politically, I'm low man on the totem pole.
So, do you have any examples where that's actually like? Do you have any stories to tell about that, or stories that you share with your kids, or challenges that you had?
It's not even share. They've been there for some of them. Everyone assumes that I must be. I have 6 kids. That is a lot for this day and age. Everyone assumes I'm on some sort of assistance. Went into a grocery store once where a checker sighed quite heavily at me and said, "You people know you're supposed to separate your paper
Whoa.
products from your food." I lost my shit, to say the least. I immediately screamed for a manager who came over, absolutely rectified the situation, removed the checker, apologized profusely. The manager checked
Good
me
for
out.
you.
But that's every day. I mean, every day we get followed in stores. I know people think it's an exaggeration or maybe it only happens once or twice. This is daily. This is daily. If we go into the mall, my sons and I, especially my sons, it's so much worse for my sons. If we go into the mall, they're followed. And one of my children, yes, dresses more urban. That shouldn't matter. My other son is very, very average Joe dresser, T-shirts and cargo shorts and tennis shoes, still followed. I probably have it easiest because I'm acceptable, meaning I'm reasonably attractive, I'm light complected, and I speak well, quote unquote. So I have it easier than some people, but this is an everyday occurrence. It really honestly is. And I think a lot of white America doesn't realize this doesn't happen occasionally. This doesn't happen once a month. This happens every day we are in public.
We love to label each other. We love to do that.
You know, I get it. It helps us group things together, things we like, things we don't like, things we're familiar with, things we're not familiar with. I get it. I don't mind the labels until they become oppressive, until it's labeled as so strange and so other that it is not equal to.
Like Android phone users.
Well, of course. God. Come on.
Okay, so we have to wrap things up. What would you like to leave people with? Like, on this whole thing, like, what can we do better, honestly? 'Cause it seems to me like the things we try to do better, somebody says, well, that's not enough. Or,
there's always going to be somebody that says not enough. Honestly,
or it's not going to work. They doubt it.
Well,
even if it doesn't work, then you try a new approach. If it doesn't work, try a new approach. But listen with an open mind. That doesn't mean you have to agree, because there's plenty I don't agree with within my own group of people who are saying do things this way. Listen and honestly take those words in. Like I said, doesn't mean you have to agree, but there's got to be something behind those words if enough people are saying them. And we need advocates. Black people need advocates, because we realize a lot of what we say doesn't matter until a white person backs us up. You can't lead, but you can stand behind us and help. You can say, yes, this happens, and educate others that you know. We can't do it all. We're still fighting within our own communities too, that we're trying to get that worked out. We can't do it all. We need the people who do understand, who do see it, to say, hey, this really is a thing, and go forth and teach others.
So people should retweet you on Twitter. So
sure, I should actually be on Twitter.
You should follow Coco and Cream on Twitter, because she doesn't post on Twitter anymore.
No, I'll start again if you follow me.
I'm going to follow you right now.
Awesome.
And retweet. And but listen, I think that that's so cliche, and I think that's where you were going with that. But I mean, that's what we need to do.
Listen and read. Yeah. If you don't believe it, read. You might find out that you were mistaken.
Yeah, well, that is really hard for people to question their own belief structure and to change. And I mean, everybody does that, and and it's hard. You put up walls. You're
absolutely,
it's hard to overcome. So anyway, on that note, thanks for being here, Terri.
Thanks for having me.
And can't wait to have you back and talk about something else, but not Pokemon. We're not going to ever talk about that on
here. Yeah, I think I'll be back for there, and I'll be talking about Pokemon.
And are you sure you can't squee?
I don't think it can.
There you go.
See, that wasn't even a good one.
Illegitimate.
That was a fake squee. I'm sorry. I was a poser.
So this closes out episode number 24. And you can get some show notes at politicalradar.com/24. You can follow me on Twitter at Elliot. You can follow Rhonda on Twitter at Sitnikow. You can follow Terri on Twitter at Coco and Cream. If you're interested in sponsoring the show, contact at politicalradar.com. And we're out. Thanks.
If you enjoyed this episode of Political Radar, please share it with your friends on Facebook and Twitter. Even better, submit a show review to iTunes or Stitcher. To listen to other episodes of Political Radar, please visit politicalradar.com/episodes. To support our podcast, please visit our sponsors who make the show possible. You can do this by visiting politicalradar.com/sponsors.
Thanks for listening to Political Radar. To ensure that you never miss an episode, subscribe on iTunes or your favorite podcast app. To stay up to date, visit politicalradar.com or connect with us on Facebook or Twitter.
This episode of Political Radar is brought to you by ReleaseWire. ReleaseWire is a powerful media engagement service connecting businesses to journalists and bloggers. If you need to get the word out about your business, ReleaseWire is an effective and affordable way to reach journalists and bloggers who are truly interested. And we have a special offer for you today. Submit your first on-demand press release with ReleaseWire and save 25% by entering the discount code PoliticalRadar. That's PoliticalRadar. ReleaseWire, from release to results.
Political Radar is a proud member of the Newsmakers Podcast Network, an ever-growing network of podcasts covering a wide range of topics. Check them out at npcn.tv.